Welcome into episode 12 of Short Shifts, the North American Hockey League podcast. I'm Brandon Hofstra here with Vinny Paracelli over that side. We're here. Division Finals is about to be underway starting tomorrow as we are recording this on Thursday. Sweeps all around. A lot of brooms were busted out. -1 series that went to the total of 5 games. But let's just jump right into it, Vinny. Obviously, the Central Division will start there. You got Austin against St. Cloud. Both teams sweeping as St. Cloud swept Aberdeen, Austin sweeping Minot, and some firepower on both teams, and they're pretty familiar with each other throughout the season too.
Just a little bit. I believe they played 12 times during the season. So yeah, familiar is one way to put it. But they each won 6 games in that contest. 5 of them needed overtime or a shootout. Both teams know each other very well. It's going to be an electric series. Bold prediction. I don't think we see any sweeps in the division finals. I don't know how bold that actually is. But after the first round we saw, I mean, we got to at least mention it. Gavin Morrissey, Austin Solani, Walter Zacher, all big names for the Bruins. Wimkin in net has been really, really good. I don't know, has he been better than Dahlmeyer? I don't think so, because Dahlmeyer had 2 shutouts in 3 games for St. Cloud. He was absolutely electric. But, I mean, St. Cloud I don't want to say, you win 3 games and none, you kind of think dominance in a way. But they only won 2-1, 2-0, 3-0. Like, they didn't blow the doors off anyone. They were close games till the end. Cole Moore is a very good goaltender for Aberdeen. He probably kept his team in it a lot more than we. But the key Bruins in that first series with their power play, they were 8 for 13 against Minot. That's like McDavid, Draisaitl, Oilers numbers. Like it's wild. Can it keep that up for round 2? Probably not. But if they have even if they're half as good, that's still a pretty good power play. So St. Cloud definitely needs to stay out of the box. It was if you like drama, this last 2 weekends were not for you, because the first weekend we saw a lot of overtime games. I think we saw like 6 or 7, especially that 4 overtime game between Lone Star and Shreveport, which we'll talk about a little later on. But man, this one's really a coin flip. As good as the Bruins have been all year, and when you really look at the central standings, how St. Cloud won the fewest amount of games in that division, even though they're in the playoffs. Like, they won less games than North Iowa and Bismarck, who are not in the playoffs. Wild thing to think about. But it's those overtime points, those loser points that really help them get to where they are.
Yep.
And the Bruins the same way. That's kind of how they got out of everyone. They were like 12-3 and 6 to start the year. Something crazy where every game went to overtime where they got the extra point. So coin flip really is. I mean, maybe make some picks later, but right now, absolute coin flip. But I'm going to give a slight edge to Austin because they can put the puck in net a little more.
100%. If you take a look at the top scorers, by the way, Austin, the number 1 seed in the Central Division, St. Cloud, the number 3 seed as well. But if you take a look at the top scorers of both teams, you got 2 defensemen leading the St. Cloud Norsemen with Carter Bradley. Shout out to his family and his brother Chase, some people I'm tight with. And then Duke Kiffin, another defenseman, both with 3 points. Then you have just a bunch of forwards after that. But like you kind of said, Austin, not afraid to put the puck in the back of the net. They have 3 forwards, like you spoke about, leading that team offensively with Solani, Zacher, Morrissey, the 3 Musketeers, we'll call them, up in Austin. But I think it's going to be a good series. I think that we're going to see 5 games. I don't think we're going to see a sweep at all, especially coming out of the Central, where it's been tight all year. It's been tight all year.
It's I don't want to say the best division in the league. I don't want to give them that much ego boost, but it's one of the best, top to bottom. It definitely it has the most parity for sure. So it should be a good matchup between these 2 clubs. I mean, St. Cloud, I don't think we've talked about it enough, really, though. They're going for back-to-back appearances in the Robertson Cup. They were there last year, and then, they got that experience, that playoff experience. Austin won their first playoff series for the first time in 5 years. So they haven't been here before. Their coaching staff hasn't been here before. St. Cloud, been there, done that. Does that play a factor in this series, especially since they don't have the home ice advantage? They get down the series, maybe 1-0, they could earn a split. I don't think they're going to panic. And I mean, we talked about it kind of going into the playoffs, where Aberdeen absolutely spanked the Norsemen, absolutely spanked them the couple weekends before the playoffs started. St. Cloud hadn't beaten Aberdeen all year. Like they lost all 8 games they played against them, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're just gonna go 3-0. We're just gonna flip the switch. All of a sudden, we're gonna play
Right.
defense like our lives depend on it, and we're
Yep.
1 goal in 3 games, which I don't care how good Dahlmeier's been. There's no way they can only give up 1 goal in 3 games. There's no way. I know, yes, it can happen, but
Right.
Austin's a little better than Aberdeen. Put it that way.
Right. Let's put it that way. Let's move over to the East now. The team that you and I talked about all season long, the juggernaut, the untouchables, the Maryland Black Bears sweep the Northeast Generals, come out of the East now to the East Division Finals. And then a team that I talked about for most of the year, the Maine Nordiques. I said they had some veteran presence. They went in and got the job done against the champions of last year, the reigning champs, the New Jersey Titans. Both teams sweeping their way into the division finals. Maryland will take a quick look at a few of their top scorers. You have McNeil and Piku, who've been lights out all year long up front. And then for Maine, you have Weiberg, Gibbons, Hallberg. Weiberg 7 points. He actually leads all scorers right now in the postseason. He's a Maine Nordique, but you gotta put bus travel into this. You gotta put bus legs into this. You gotta put big dog versus underdog, David Goliath in a sense into this. Um, a lot of factors from the outside looking in of where this could go. Like I want to say most of the cards will be on the side of Maryland, but Maine might have something up their sleeve. You don't know. So I'm just gonna let you run with that right there. But just sort of some factors. I know it's a 10-hour bus ride from Lewiston down to Maryland.
I think this series is very similar to New Jersey, Maine in the first round. Both teams can put the puck in the back of the net. They're both top 5, 6 offenses. Maine, put up 3 in game 1. They put up 6 in game 2, and they put up 5 in game 3 against Jersey. And the Titans didn't have an answer. The thing with Maryland, though, is they got this guy named William Hackinson in that. He's a top 10 goaltender in the league. You've also got the fact that Maryland as a whole doesn't their top 5 defensive club, where Maine is definitely not that. So
Right.
will the Nordiques be able to contain Maryland like they did the Titans? I mean, they only allowed 6 goals in the 3 games, and 5 of them came in that game 2, that wild back and forth affair. So, I mean, if Thomas Haney can play like he did in that first round, Maine's definitely got a shot. I mean, just looking at his numbers, he went 3-0 with a 192, 946, and a shutout. That's pretty good. And like I said, 5 of those 6 goals came in 1 game. So I think that if he plays up to that caliber, Maine's definitely got a shot.
Right.
They got to stay out of the box, though. Their PK as a whole throughout the whole season, you can't take just the last series of small sample size. Their PK as a whole is not very good. Maryland's power play is very good. That they have to stay out of the box. I just think they got to stay out of all the after the whistle stuff, the nonsense. They have to play their game, which is up and down, back and forth. We're gonna score goals. That they're gonna score goals. They're gonna find a way. But can they give up can they not give up the goals like they did against Jersey? That remains to be seen. And I kind of similar how I would talk about St. Cloud. Can they do it 2 rounds in a row? I just think we talked about how Maryland was this force to be reckoned with in the beginning of the year.
Right.
They proved us wrong where they didn't have that backslide. They had a little bump, a couple bumps, but they never really went full on free fall. And tidbit here of information: I've been in this league for 6 years now, minus 2020 with the COVID Robertson Cup. There's been a different team representing the East Division in all my years here. Maine has represented him. Maine was there 2 years ago. Maryland is not.
Right.
So I'm just going to put that out there into the universe, and we'll see what happens.
So here's a little tidbit for you, since you just threw a little fun piece of information at me. Looking at the shots, team shots by period right now, the overall through the first round, Maryland 124 shots for, shots against 67. So they're firing that thing left and right. Maine, on the other hand, 91 shots for, 111 shots against. So something to kind of factor in as well, where both teams are fairly close in the amounts of shots for, but the attempts against them are a heck of a lot lower for Maryland, as it seems that they take the puck away from teams and gobble it up or have it hit off a body and go out of play, blah blah blah. But just a little tidbit there for you. I'm looking at Lone Star as well. We'll talk about them later, but yeah, just a little fun bit of information there for you. Anything else you want to add in for the East?
Well, I mean, I would talk about the Maryland power play. The Maryland power play was, we talked about the, small sample size. They were 50%
Mhm.
in the 3 games against the Generals. 50. Stay out of the box,
Not bad.
man. If you want a chance, stay out of the box.
Not bad. Not bad. Let's hop over to the Midwest. Probably like we said throughout this year, the tightest conference. Every other day, there's somebody new that was first place, second place, third place, fourth place. You go on and on and on. So coming out of that first round, second round now will be Wisconsin against Minnesota Wilderness. Wisconsin sweeping Chippewa, Minnesota sweeping Kenai. Um, I think this is definitely going to go to 5 games. This is a very tight game. You got maybe what could be making a rivalry. I know the state of Minnesota and the state of Wisconsin already do not like themselves, so why not throw a little junior hockey hatred in there, going back and forth over state lines? Obviously, a huge thing as well for a first-year team to make it to the division finals. Will they be like Anchorage? Will we see them coming up in a few weeks down up in Minnesota? I guess down from where I'm at right now, but kind of go up what you saw, I guess, Vinny, over these past few games, and we'll just kind of dive into some top scorers and obviously the net keepers.
Well, we said Wisconsin Chippewa last couple weeks was going to go between the 2 goaltenders because we
Mm-hmm.
said if any goaltender could steal a series, it's Adam Guyon. Well, he didn't.
Right.
Minnesota got 4 out of him in game 1, 3 out of him in game 2, and got enough in 2 in game 2. Max Beckford, I think right now he's kind of flying under the radar a little bit. He had a really good 3-0 in the first round, of course. 127 966. Oh, wait.
Not
The
bad.
other guy he's going up against was also 3-0, 1 goal per game, 964 in Isaac Posh. So and Minnesota cannot score, though. That's the only thing. They won 2-1, 3-1, 2-1, 3-1 with empty netter, 2-1. So they've only
Yeah.
gotten basically 2 goals a game. Wisconsin can score. Their top 10 team offensively, top 10 team defensively as well.
Mm-hmm.
I said this in a couple weeks ago. If Kenai could stop Kevin Marks Norton, they got a chance. Well, guess what they didn't do? If you want to
They
read
didn't
off the
stop
Kevin
him.
Marks Norton stats for me, they did not stop him. So I think you have to stop Kevin Marks Norton. If you could stop Kevin Marks Norton, I don't think Minnesota has the offensive firepower to keep up with Wisconsin. Now,
3
can
goals,
Isaac
1
Posh
assist,
save a
4 points.
series?
There you go.
Yeah, not a big deal. I believe one of
Maybe.
them was an empty netter, but still.
Right.
I mean, could Isaac Posh stand on his head again and allow 1 goal a game? Sure, absolutely. Can we see a Lone Star Shreveport series where it's 2-1 every game or 1-0? I think we can. But I think the way Wisconsin plays, they're a little more up and down than say Minnesota is.
Right.
If Wisconsin can get Minnesota to play their game instead of Minnesota dictating the pace of play, I think Wisconsin
Mm-hmm.
has the edge there. I
Yep.
mean, listen, we all love 1-0 hockey games, but they're a little boring. So, I
We do.
mean, I think that Wisconsin adding some offense, the offense that Wisconsin has, and you're gonna read off the scores and stuff here in a sec. One name you're not going to mention is Luke Lewandowski, who only had 1 assist in the 3 games. He's one of the best players in Wisconsin. He had a tough series. I have a feeling he's
Right.
going to bounce back and be better this time around.
Minnesota Wilderness, 7 goals for, 3 goals against over those 3 games. Wisconsin, 10 goals for, while allowing 4 in those 3 games. So, like you said, there's some firepower for Wisconsin. Minnesota, they got a little bit against 7-3. But yeah, now we're gonna get to. Oh, go ahead.
Well,
Oh, you got something?
one last note: Wendigo won 8 out of the 10 regular season contests against Minnesota, so maybe there's a psychological factor there as well. We'll see.
Not superstitious, just a little stitious.
Just a little.
Just a little. South Division, we got Oklahoma Warriors against the Shreveport Mudbugs. Oklahoma sweeping Amarillo. Granted, there was a scary game, game 3. They were down 3-rip going into the third. They balled out, found the back of the net 3 times, even the game, went to overtime. Good night. See you later as they move on to the division finals. Shreveport Mudbugs, they went to 5 games. That includes a 4 overtime, another overtime, maybe a regulation, maybe another regulation, then an overtime. I went to a game 2, just 1 overtime, thank goodness, way past my bedtime. But just a gritty matchup between them and Lone Star. I know you have a soft spot in your vocabulary for the Lone Star Brahmas. I can't say the word. I'll let you do that. Otherwise, I might have somebody else out for my head within the league. That's a joke. But it was boring. I'm trying to whisper that it's kind of boring, and it's the type of hockey they play. Shreveport. You can count that win in that last game all on Simon Buchler for that huge stop he made in the third period with a couple minutes left. Spectacular save. He went 1-1-1, a .90, a 9.80 goal against average, and a .957 save percentage. Just take it away. I'll let you start things off with Oklahoma. Obviously, that sweep against Amarillo.
Well, Oklahoma, similar like they did in the third period of game 3, they just flipped the switch. Like they kind of struggled toward the end of the regular season. We were kind of worried about them a little bit. Amarillo had won 9 in a row. And we were like, and they just flipped the switch, and all of a sudden, like they blew them out in game 1.
Like Drake says.
4 goals. Yeah. 4 goals in the first period, easy win. Another couple goals in the first period the next night, easy win. And they're like, all right, Amarillo got some life being at home. And then they're like, okay, guys, enough of this. We don't want to play another game. 3 goals in regulation. They're from Williams in overtime. They played, they played a minute and a half. So they played, basically 9 periods of hockey, right?
Right.
On the other hand, Shreveport Lone Star. You got the 4 overtimes from game 1. You got the 1 overtime from game 2, and you got the 1 overtime from game 4. That's 6 extra periods. So that basically means that Lone Star and Shreveport played a 7-game series. That's basically what that means. Does Shreveport have anything left in the tank after that emotional win against Lone Star? That's my biggest question, honestly. Like, that's your rival.
A rivalry matchup to get to this game.
It's knockdown. Yeah, it's a knockdown, drag them out type. Like, do they have anything left?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure if they do, because they're not a great offensive team as it is. They are a very good defensive team, as we saw. As I almost correctly predicted the under 15.5 goals in the series, it was 16. It was so close. But Oklahoma, like we saw, yeah, they can allow a goal a game the whole time, or they can just throw 5 on you in about 5 minutes. I just think they played a total of 7 games worth of hockey, a big emotional win. They played Monday. They're playing on Friday. They got to travel. They had to travel home. They had to go travel to Oklahoma. I just think, as good as Shreveport is and the way they played, how they can just muck it up and shut down any team.
Right.
I just don't think they have anything left. If this was Oklahoma's team last year, or maybe even 2 years ago, I'd say maybe they're young, but they've got a lot of 3-year guys in that club that have been around, and they made the playoffs each of the last 2 years. They made the division finals against Shreveport 2 years ago in their first season, so maybe there's also a little bit of revenge factor there as well. I think Oklahoma has every advantage you could think of coming into this series.
I agree with you. And if you look at the goals for, goals against over the first round series, Oklahoma 15 goals for, 7 allowed. And this is fun for you. Are you ready for this one? Shreveport, 8 goals for, 8 goals against.
Well, that just goes to show how tight that series was. You were at game. You were at game 2, the night after the marathon, and obviously I would imagine. But I'm not gonna use that one word because I already got an email about it. But that second game, I'd imagine the play was a little lackluster because they just played 7 periods the night before. They have an excuse for that one. My question is with Shreveport, what's the goaltending situation? Because if you noticed, they rotated.
They did.
So if the
you
rotations
Buchler again,
well, Nicole Goich is 2-0 with a 1.52 and
that's totally true. Yeah, that's true. Buchler's 1-1-1, and then Goich is 2-0.
So I mean, I really, if you really think about it, I mean, you got to stick with what's working, right? You have to. You'd be crazy not to, right? I mean, you have faith in both guys. Both guys have shown, hey, they're ready to go. And if Oklahoma does get a period where they get 3 or 4, God willing, like then you got another guy. You just send him out there, and you go, all right, fuck.
Cool. See you later. Like
Oklahoma,
you said,
man, they're a wagon. Oklahoma's a wagon, I think.
They are.
And
Yep.
I started down them a little bit toward the end of the season because they kind of took the foot off the gas. But now that they've shown no playoff game,
Yeah, we're here. Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
here. They are a wagon,
Oh,
absolute wagon.
yeah. I agree with you, and I think it's going to be a good series. I think I'm not going to say I'm leaning one way towards the other, but it's all on paper.
Well,
You
I
can
mean,
go online and read it.
I'll say we have picks coming up. I feel like, right?
Let's do it. Let's do the picks. You can't go back. I have a picture
Right.
of your picks.
I'm not. Well, I have to make a new East pick. So.
No. Well, yeah, now, but whatever set in stone, set in stone. Yeah. All right, let's start with the East. Let's go East. You're the guest.
All right. Well, I do love Matt Pinchevsky from Maine. I think he's one of the top coaches in the league. I like his style. I like the way they do things. I think this is Maryland's year. I originally picked the Titans. I will be straightforward about it because I thought they had they had enough guys back from that team last year. They were going to lead them to getting back to the Robertson Cup. Maybe not win it all, but get there at least.
Right.
But now what I've seen, Maryland, we talked about, they had a little rough patch. They figured it out. They have the goaltending. They have the veteran guys that have been there. They've been tested. Brad McNeil's been there for a couple of years now. Luke Van Wise, a second-year guy. Braden Standard's been there for a couple of years. Brandon Piku's been there. They've got veteran guys that have been there, done that. They've got their college commitments. Now all they gotta do is go play hockey and try to win a championship. So I'm gonna go
Maryland as well.
I'm gonna go Maryland in 4.
Ooh. I'm gonna go Maryland in 3.
Ooh, a little sweep. Okay.
I don't think they're letting off. I think they're gonna
sweep at.
I think they're gonna roll house at home. I think they're gonna hit the bus right after that game's over, get up to Maine, and say, you know what, we're ready to be back in our own beds tonight. So let's just get this thing done. Let's pack the bags. Let's get ready for the airplane, and let's get to Minnesota. Let's party. So my pick right there. Let's go up to the Central Division. St. Cloud versus Austin.
This was actually a tougher one for me than I thought it would be, but I got to stick with my original pick, and that's going to be the Austin Bruins. I think that while Dahlmeier's hot, he's incredibly hot. I think in that they're just as good with Wimkin. I think offensively they're way better, and they won the season. Or sorry, it was 6-6, but I feel like more of their wins didn't come in either overtime or shootout. So I'm gonna say Austin in 4.
Austin in 4. All right. I have Austin as well. I'm pulling up the official set in stone sheet that's on a whiteboard. So I picked Austin as well. I think Steve Howard just got these guys dialed in. I think that they are they got a few guys up front, like we talked about, that can put the puck in the back of the net. They bring a high offense to their game. Their goaltender's 3-0 right now, 1.63 goal against average, save percentage 940. I think that they're just going to keep this going. I think it's going to go to 4 games, but they're going to finish it obviously on the road in St. Cloud. Midwest, you got Wisconsin versus Minnesota. I'll go first.
Okay.
Let me double check my pick. Oh crap!
I'm going Minnesota. I don't remember my exact pick for that one. I have to remember my pick there. So if I tell you the wrong one, correct me because I don't remember who I picked the odds to be. But go ahead, Minnesota.
I'm looking at it. Yes, I did have Minnesota. I'm going them. I think I just think that they're just finishing what they couldn't finish last year. Obviously, a lot of injury in the postseason for them, or nearing the start of the postseason. And I just think that this is really going to turn into a good, healthy rivalry between these two teams going further down the line in the history of the North American Hockey League. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going Minnesota. Don't ask me why, because I just picked them. Since the Wild can't do it, the Wilderness will.
That's a good strategy, Cotton. Um,
Hopefully Christian's not listening to this.
okay, well, I'm gonna sit picking Wisconsin. Did I pick Wisconsin to begin the thing? You're looking at it?
You did. You did. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, good. Wisconsin, I think is gonna go because they have offense. If like Beckford and Posh are literally right now 4 and 5 in goals against average. They 9.64, 9.66. They're 2 and 3 in save percentage. Really, I mean, the goaltending is literally as even as you can get, kind of like the Lone Star Shreveport series was. Wisconsin though is the better team offensively. They, I think, as a whole, they need to definitely figure out their power plays. They were over in the Chippewa series, but um, I think Wisconsin has way more firepower with Windland, Lewandowski. I think because of that, I say the Wendigo win in 3.
Oh. Oh, I didn't give my number. I'm going 5.
I mean, I could see it going 5, but I just feel like it's gonna be like literally it's gonna
Why
be like
not?
3-2, 4-2 with an empty netter, 3-2 again. That's how I'm feeling about it.
Just to make our lives hell. I'm going 5. Can I
Okay.
say that on here?
Yeah, that would yes, that would be more work for us for sure. Yes.
I'm going 5. Final one. South Division. Oklahoma versus Shreveport. The writing was on the wall in the preview there. Oklahoma Warriors, I'm going with.
I mean, I said I kind of yeah. When we talked about, it, I kind of named that Oklahoma has every advantage. The travel, the
Mm-hmm.
offensive firepower, the not playing basically 7 games over the last I don't know what 10 days, whatever it's been.
All right.
They've been rested. They're probably healthier.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
3.
and as much as Shreveport, I think definitely does have the goaltending advantage in this one because I don't know
Right.
who Oklahoma's going to play, given that Johnson got pulled in Game 3 for Duras, and then Duras came in and had a shutout the rest of the way. I don't know who Roth's going to start in net, but I think Oklahoma just they're wagon. They're an absolute wagon. So shout out to our friend Marianne Choi, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
I think we see her and the rest of the Warriors in Blaine. And I'm going to say 4 because I think Shreveport gets 1 win on home ice, and then it's done on
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Okay. Fair.
Would I
I'm
be
going
shocked if it's a
Oklahoma as
sweep?
well.
No.
Right. Right. For the sake of the story, I want it to be 4 games, I guess, as well. Because I like Soupy a lot, but I think Oklahoma is an elite team right now, and I think they're not gonna stop riding this wave until they get all the way through Minnesota. There it is, division final matchups. Everything will get underway tomorrow night. Well, Friday night, May 5th. And then it's the best of 5 series. Again, we'll start May 5th tomorrow night. Again, we're recording this on Thursday, like I said. But yeah, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be fun to see the final 4 teams and make their way up to Blaine.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, really when we get to Robertson Cup, I mean, we've made our picks. We say who's we think is going to get there, but realistically, you could say every team remaining has a legitimate chance of winning it all. There's
Right.
different factors that each team has that can put them over the top. If they play to their highest level, so we'll see how that goes with them. But what I will say is that you can watch all on NAHL TV Friday, Saturday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Real simple schedule, no midweek games. Nothing's gonna come out of the closet like just be like, oh, there's a game on right now. No way. Oh, one note though,
Right.
because it's not usual because of the travel thing. The Maryland Maine game 4, if necessary, is at I believe 1:30 Eastern.
Okay.
It's an early one. It's an early one. So just be aware of that if that game comes about because they got to play that
Perfect.
game, drive 10 hours back to Maryland and play the next day potentially. So
But
potentially, if
but
necessary, as they say.
don't miss that. Episode 12 in the books. Next one, possibly next week after, before we go to Minnesota, probably.
I would say maybe even in Minnesota, quick one. Maybe we'll have to see. It's going to be a very busy week for the boys here at the NHL
Mm-hmm.
staff. So
That's true.
if
Again,
not
tune
next
in to
week,
all the game. Oh,
Try to get one out before. So
Head
no,
up.
you're good. I'll tune in. Tune in. We're
Tune
gonna be
in.
watching them also.
Yeah, we'll be watching them starting tomorrow night, May 5th. Yeah, that's episode 12 in the books.
Boys are buzzing. Let's get it going.
We're ready. We're ready. Right on. All right, signing off for Short Shifts. I'm Brandon Hofstede. Where is he at? That's Vinny over there.
Where am
right
I?
there. There he is.
Okay, there I am.